Oh, honey, how was your day today? Oh, well, it was, very good. I was just talking to Billy about the great quarantine that happened back in the year 2020.
Well, honey, you know that after the first 2 weeks it turned into the shutdown in different states like Michigan, Ohio, New York, California.
Oh, yes. I remember, honey. How could I have forgotten? What are you doing right now?
Well, I just watched the news and I found out that the coronavirus is coming back. Luckily for us, I found some hydrochloroquine, and hopefully taking this will help prevent us from getting sick. It is in your drink right now, honey.
Oh, honey, that's perfect. You always know how to take good care of me. Tastes very bitter. Where did you find it at?
At Walmart, right next to the fish tanks. I got it for a great deal. Now drink up. I don't want you to get sick and die.
Wait, this isn't hydrochloroquine. This is... No! Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 20th episode of the Dockery Docket, and I am very excited to be here, and I hope that you are very excited to be here as well. And if you are excited, make sure to do what all good listeners do, which is to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe leave a comment if you want to. I'm not forcing you to do anything. So, you can write in the comments, how is your quarantine going? Are you having a good time with this quarantine that's happened? Now, it recently changed on Monday to not just being a quarantine, but it turned into a complete shutdown, at least in Michigan, New York, and other states. So, the radio station where I work at has officially been shut down. So, that means we are in my bedroom and we are relaxing and we're having a good time in my bedroom. Also, I want to apologize about last week's video. For some reason, the music didn't play. I think I forgot to put it in, and it looked really bad on my part, and I'm really sorry, but I hope that deep down in your heart, you will be able to forgive me for that, hopefully. I don't think we were copyrighted, which I really hope that we weren't, because then that causes a bunch of legal stuff, but nothing on the YouTube said that we were. So, now we are going to jump into the news. Today, and this whole entire week, I have been absolutely sick and tired of the media as we continue to fight through this coronavirus crap. All that seems to be on the news right now are stories coming out of New York or from the White House about the coronavirus. As we talked about last week, we talked about the different speeches that Donald Trump has been doing during the day with his task force to talk about what is going on in the country and how we are trying to prevent this virus from spreading. So in one of these press briefings, Donald Trump was talking about a certain drug called hydrochloroquine, which is an anti-malaria drug under the name Plaquenil. Now, this drug is very popular for rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and other different things, and also malaria. That's how we got rid of malaria in different places. And Trump has said that this drug could be used to help treat coronavirus. And right now, the drug seems to be at a testing stage. Now, this drug doesn't cure coronavirus, but what it does is it helps relieve the symptoms so then the person can get better. There have already been numerous stories coming out of people who have taken both Plaquenil and a Z-Pack, which a Z-Pack is used to treat the flu. It's also helped to treat other infections, such as sinus infections. I know I've taken a Z-Pack a lot because of my different sinus infections. And so I know that the Z-Pack works. So these medicines combined have started to help people. So Donald Trump is getting up on stage and he's saying, goodness, I hope that this works. I really think that this is going to work. He's written on his Twitter, I really hope that this is going to work. This wasn't a 100% thing that he was talking about. This wasn't a 100% cure that he was talking about. He said that it could possibly be a cure. But then, something terrible happened. So a woman and her husband were starting to feel symptoms of COVID-19, the coronavirus, and so they followed Trump's orders and went to the doctor and were prescribed the drug Plaquenil. They both took the pills, and both of them started having trouble and a terrible reaction. They were throwing up, almost like they had eaten a chemical of some sort. They were both rushed to the hospital, where the man tragically passed away, and the woman was put in the ICU to be treated for taking the medicine. Wait a minute. This isn't right. Here, let me look at my notes. Wait. This story isn't right. This story is actually false, but it is actually what the media wants you to believe. As there were many articles, like the one from KTAR News said, Arizona man dies after ingesting substance touted by President Trump. Time magazine even had an article where the doctors are holding the pills in their hand. And the article reads, Arizona man dies after taking chemical in coronavirus treatment touted by Trump. So this man dying from taking the Plaquenil has to be Donald Trump's fault. In reality, it isn't. Here's the real story. The woman was watching Trump's press conference and heard that President Trump was talking about hydrochloroquine. And to her surprise, she had some. However, this was chloroquine, which was in a high dosage and was used in fish tank cleaner. That's right, the woman mixed fish tank cleaner into soda. Both of them drank it as a preventative measure. That's right, they didn't even have any symptoms at all of the coronavirus, and they were all healthy. Now listen, I feel bad for the husband that died, but I can almost guarantee you that on the back of the bottle of the fish tank cleaner, it said in big bold letters, not for human consumption. But they still did, and it cost the husband his life. Luckily, the woman who did this was able to bash Trump and say, don't believe anything that the president says and his people because they don't know what they are talking about. This story is just terrible. Never has there ever been a time that Donald Trump has gotten on TV and said, make sure you drink fish tank cleaner. I recommend it 100%. What Trump is saying is go to the doctor, get prescribed this medication if you're having symptoms. I will use an example from the Ben Shapiro show, which I really enjoy the Ben Shapiro show, so if you want, you can go watch his ramblings, which I think are absolutely fantastic. So, he said that the story is like a doctor going on TV and saying wine before bed is a good thing for you, which is true. However, you don't have any wine, so you take Welch's grape juice and you pour rubbing alcohol in there. Like, the drug and the fish tank cleaner were definitely different. The drug that is FDA approved in the pharmacy and that doctors are using to treat the coronavirus are different than the ingredients in the fish tank cleaner. I want to make that very clear. The people drank fish tank cleaner and they blamed it on Donald Trump. They blamed it on his press conferences. This was one of the craziest stories that I think I've ever seen, because just the thought of having the news anchor go into the ICU unit and ask the woman what she thinks about Donald Trump and what she needs to say to all Americans about Donald Trump, and she said don't listen to him because they don't know what they're talking about. It's absolutely stupid. So anyway, along with this, the media has also made me mad this week. As we talked about last week, there was this bill that was going to be passed to help people who were affected by coronavirus. So this bill was going to pay people who weren't working so then they could have money to pay for bills because the government told them to shut down their business and all this stuff. And it seemed that both sides agreed on the deal. Mitch McConnell was okay with it. Chuck Schumer was okay with it. And then Nancy Pelosi came back from a long weekend and was like, what the heck is this? We can't do this. Which ultimately led to the bill not passing. The Democrats didn't like it that the bill was helping corporations which need to stay afloat, so when the crisis is over, people actually have a job and the businesses don't sink. Imagine if you're getting all this money from the federal government to help you pay taxes, and then all of a sudden the crisis is over, and you're like, hip hip hooray, I can go back to work. You go back to work, and your business has no money because all the money went to you. That doesn't seem fair. There needs to be a happy medium of both people getting the money and also corporations getting the money. But for Democrats, no way. No way. You can't give corporations any money at all. Nope. Just give it to the people, which is absolutely ridiculous thought. So this made headlines, and the media downplayed it, because this was the Democrats' fault. You know, the Democrats stopped the bill from passing, so this is the Democrats' fault. So the New York Times released an article which accidentally told the truth and said, Democrats block action on 1.8 trillion stimulus. That's good. That's a good story. That's a good title. It's very fact-based, very simple, to the point. But then the article changed on the same day to Democrats block action on stimulus plan seeking worker protection. So they added a little bit at the end, This is a little bit better, but it's still blaming Democrats a little bit. So they decided to go back to the drawing board, and the article changed once again and said, partisan divide threatens deal on rescue bill. Partisan divide threatens deal on rescue bill. Is anyone going to say that everyone agreed on this bill before Nancy Pelosi came back and said, hey, we can't do that? If Republicans were to block a bill like this, we all know that the article's title would not have changed at all. And I said this from the very beginning. Once Democrats blocked the bill, I said, oh great, here we go again, because the media is going to cover them because the media likes the Democrats. For some reason, I don't know why, but they just do. And this leads to the whole idea of being partisan. All of a sudden, this whole entire issue of the coronavirus should not be a partisan issue at all. And during a crisis, it shouldn't exist at all, as we need to realize that the greater need is for the American people. Why is it that Congress or the Senate are so set on one value of ideas and they can't even move to help people? And this is for both sides, not just for Democrats. I believe that if the Senate building were on fire, there would be a fierce debate on if they should use gasoline or water, and in the end they wouldn't be able to agree, leading to them splashing both on them and causing the fire to go even more crazy. Luckily for us, there was a bill that was passed by the House and the Senate and signed by the President, and so it is now law. As of Friday, Trump signed a bill that was worth $2 trillion. That's right. Trillion with a T. That is the most expensive bill in American history, which is absolutely crazy. So in the bill was money to help hospitals and working families, but it also included some of the crap from Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the crazy left-wing agenda, including the disastrous Green New Deal. According to USA Today, the bill imposes racial and gender pay equality provisions, diversity on corporate boards, increased use of minority-owned banks by federal offices, and a grab bag of other diversity-themed requirements. It increases the collective bargaining power for unions and cancels all the debts owned by the U.S. Postal Service to the U.S. Treasury. For the global warming crowd, there are increased fuel emission standards and required carbon offsets for airlines, plus tax credits for alternative energy programs. For the kids, there is a provision for student loan payment deferment, and for the education bureaucrats who overcharged them a $9.5 billion giveaway to colleges and universities. It gives $100 million to juvenile justice programs and suspends various aspects of enforcement of immigration law. Well, this is interesting and it might help in the future. This might be a good thing down the road, but how is this going to help us prevent the spread of the coronavirus? How is this going to help our doctors and nurses? I mean, great. We have more diversity in the banking system, but when the banks aren't even open because we have a virus being spread throughout the entire world, what are we going to do? Along with that, this bill will also make sure that every single state have mail-in ballots, which once again can be helpful, but what about the people suffering from the virus? Along with that, the Kennedy Center of Performing Arts got $25 million. Big Bird, aka PBS, got $75 million. So was there some wasteful spending in this bill? Yes, because people decide to throw all their crap onto this bill. The bill is like this big, giant stack of paper, and sometimes you can get away with putting other things on top of the stack of paper and getting away with it. This is how Donald Trump got rid of the individual mandate on Obamacare, because he threw in the individual mandate being exposed and kicked out in his tax bill, I believe. And that got the Democrats all riled up, and it was pretty funny. But anyway, and along with that, there are many Democrats that are saying that this is only the first stage, and they want to have more bills that are coming down the pipeline with more spending. Nancy Pelosi recently had an interview where she said, oh yes, we can spend more money. I love spending money. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You could see the money in her eyes and all this stuff, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on there. This bill will be enough. I mean, It is $2 trillion. And maybe, just maybe, if we would not have spent the money that was sent on the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts and PBS and gave it instead to the hospitals for more supplies, or even the payments to workers that are struggling, then we wouldn't need another bill. But we will just have to wait and see what happens. And yes, we still have a lot of time on our hands, as the 2-week quarantine has turned into a shutdown, as I already mentioned at the very beginning. But according to Donald Trump, there are some other plans that he has in mind. So Trump has said that he is hoping. Now I want to make sure that this is very clear. Donald Trump is hoping that business will be open by Easter. He said, "It's a great time for other reasons and also for our country." This can be dangerous, as setting a date and that date comes and then things aren't the same, and then people lose trust in the government and they lose trust in Trump. And this is why Trump has said, hopefully, he said hopefully many times, hopefully we'll be open by Easter. But the media, oh, here we go again, has been in a spin about this, as they are starting to say that Trump cares more about the economy than the people. And this is an interesting point, as Donald Trump does care about the economy, and he understands that the economy being shut down for 8 to 9 months won't work. If you have something that won't work and you're not getting money in, all of a sudden the whole economy is going to crash. That means businesses aren't getting enough money to pay their employees, and then the businesses go under, and that is a very, very bad thing. So Trump is saying, okay, we need to get some businesses open so then we can get the economy rolling again. But the media and other people are saying, well, Donald Trump just wants people to die. And that's not true. And to be honest, he also cares enough for people that when Easter comes around and it's still bad outside, Trump will say, okay, we're going to keep it closed. I believe that 100%. If it's still bad by Easter, I believe Donald Trump will say, we'll keep everything closed, we'll try again another time. But to be honest, I'm hoping that this will end by Easter, because I might be going a little bit crazy. I mean, this took like 3 times for me to make. So the sooner that this can be over, the better my brain will be. It will also be a very cool thing because, you know, Jesus rose during Easter, and then all of a sudden the American economy is rising on Easter. That would be very cool. I think that would be a very, very cool thing. So as I mentioned last week, at the end of these episodes, I wanted to talk about what is happening in the world of the coronavirus. And it was reported on Friday that the United States of America is now number 1 in cases of coronavirus. Now this has gotten everyone in a stir too. Hillary Clinton recently posted that, well, Donald Trump said we would be number 1, which she was absolutely bashed for because it seemed like she was praising. It seemed that Hillary Clinton was happy that the pandemic was this bad in America. And this also has gotten everyone into the panic, but this means that we are testing more. And if you look at the population to the sick ratio, it is very, very low. As our cases per a population of 1 million is about 300. And that is very low. In other countries like Italy, which is a much smaller population, but their cases per 1 million people is 1,400. So that is a very, very big difference. So anyway, America has almost 104,000 cases of the virus. America has around 1,700 deaths. And once again, in the good news, America has healed almost 2,500 people, and hopefully there will be more recoveries in the future as we continue to test and fight the disease. The state that has been hit the hardest has been New York City, as it almost seems like New York City is the Italy of America, because as you know, New York City has a lot of people and they're all on top of each other, and this has led to the spread. A lot of urban areas are getting more affected by the virus because there's so many people, they're always around each other. So you'll see states like New York, Michigan, Illinois, because of Chicago having more sicknesses than Idaho or Nebraska or something like that, because in Nebraska and in more rural areas, people are more spread out. In cities, they're more closer together, and so the disease just spreads throughout the entire place. But New York is really struggling right now, and hopefully by next week, they will be able to get their numbers down. They're trying really hard to slow that curve. They have shut down everything more mandatory than Michigan has. In Michigan, Detroit is really bad. So we'll just have to see. And hopefully by next week, I won't be completely insane as we have another week of this shutdown or of this quarantine that has been happening, and we can have another Dockery Docket next week, if I'm not insane, okay? We'll have to see. But I want to thank you for watching and listening to the Dockery Docket, for liking, subscribing, and reposting all my content on social media. It means so much to me. I believe we are growing bigger and stronger than ever before. So continue to stay in touch. So, until next week, on Tuesday at noonish, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving. Goodbye.